In this video, we will describe the various components of a blockchain system by examining a set of illustrative or notional transactions. Let's start with Candace. Candace is going to sell many of her Marvel comics. These comics are prized by children, and she expects many of her friends to want to buy one of her comics. When Candace offers the first comic for sale, her friend Marco purchases it. Everyone knows Marco, and they know how much the sale price was. Let's assume that all of Candace's friends have a piece of paper, and when she sells the comic to Marco, she says out loud that she is selling the comic to Marco for $12. This transaction is recorded by all of Candace's friends on their pieces of paper. When that transaction is codified, we can guarantee that all of Candace's friends have the same record of that transaction, and they verify that the transaction they have recorded is the same as what everyone else has recorded. This piece of paper that is being held by all of Candace's friends who have recorded the transaction is the beginning of our distributed ledger. Now, let's assume that Candace continues selling her comics. She sells to Ebony, Tasha, Rodney, and Tariq. Every time they purchase one of her comics and the transaction is completed, it is recorded exactly the same way on the piece of paper held by Candace and all of her friends, including the individual who's purchasing the comic. And then, once 10 of these transactions have happened, they will try to come to a consensus. What does that mean? What we've done is on the pieces of paper that all of Candace's friends have, there is a secret puzzle to be solved. Everyone is going to furiously try to solve the puzzle, and whoever solves that puzzle first will make a copy of the paper and send it to all of the individuals involved in this exercise. Everybody will get this piece of paper while they're still working on solving the puzzle. And when they get the paper, they will be able to quickly verify that the puzzle has been solved correctly. Let's say Maurice solves the puzzle first, and this copy of Maurice's paper is sent to everybody. Everybody can verify that Maurice solved the puzzle correctly. As soon as they verify that, they stop working on solving the puzzle themselves. They throw their piece of paper away. Maurice's paper now becomes the official record of the last 10 transactions. And because Maurice's paper has a solved puzzle with a watermark or imprint on it, that piece of paper cannot be changed. This process, where all people come to a consensus and Maurice's paper becomes the official record in the distributed ledger, is the consensus protocol. By the way, every transaction on that piece of paper is verified and confirmed. The ability of all of the parties to participate in the value exchange are confirmed. The fact that Candace had the rights to sell the comic and all of the buyers, Ebony, Tasha, Rodney, and Tariq, had the money to buy the comic was all confirmed before consensus was reached. This piece of paper that we have arrived at consensus on is now a block. Let's now say Fatma, another of the friends involved here, wants to sell Dennis her comic. We will now repeat the same process. We will have 10 transactions. People will buy the comics. They will record those transactions on their scratch pieces of paper. Once you get to 10 transactions, everyone will try to solve a puzzle. This time, Chen is the first to solve the puzzle, and their paper is sent to everyone. Everyone can confirm that this paper is accurate and Chen solved the puzzle correctly. This new piece of paper is attached to the first piece of paper. Now we have two blocks chained together. We have our blockchain. As more blocks are chained together, it becomes harder to change the previous blocks. These blocks are fixed. The transactions on the blocks are fixed. And we now have an audit trail of where all these transactions came from. We call that provenance. As this process repeats itself, more and more pieces of paper will get added. Each group with its 10 transactions will be a block, and our blockchain will continue to expand. All the parties involved in the transaction have the same copy of the blockchain, or to be more precise, the distributed ledger. So the blockchain has a distributed ledger, and it has a mechanism for consensus. As the blocks are chained together, any transaction in any of the blocks is almost impossible to change, and there is an audit trail for every transaction. This is the conceptual underpinning of how blockchain works.